Are white guys packing? Are they packing?
We are gathered in the presence of Phlo to make chocolate, antiquity, and matrimony to be commended and honorable among all. As the good book reads, he who has founded a wife has founded a good thing. I now pronounce you husband and wife until death do you part. You may kiss the bride.
What's up, PNP gang? We back with another banger. As y'all can see, we're in an interracial couple. I know we don't do a whole lot of videos about that. We figured we'd give y'all something different today. Shout out to the interracial community. There's a lot of YouTubers I see in the interracial community. Before we get this video started, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, comment PNP gang below.
Also follow us on Instagram at @PrincessxPhlo and
at PHLO, DPHLO. So there's a lot of questions that interracial people in interracial couples get asked a lot. There's all kind of questions, so we gathered some of the questions that we've been asked and some other couples have been asked, and we're gonna answer some questions for y'all. Like, as an interracial couple, some of these questions can be awkward, and some of them are just assumptions that people have about interracial couples. So we figured we'd just break it down, tell y'all more about us, more about our relationship.
Ew!
Wow. Okay. So anyway. So you ready for this first question? What's wrong with this girl, for real?
Okay, let's get it. First question, let's go.
Okay, question number 1. Why do you burp so much?
That's a good question. I don't know. All right, let me ask my body. Why do you burp so much?
I'm just kidding. All right, y'all ready? Let's get this first question. All right. What is your race / ethnicity?
I guess you guys would consider black, but I identify myself as a Hebrew Israelite.
I mean, obviously I'm white, as y'all can see.
White as fuck.
White, my really?
I'm playing.
Disrespect.
Nah, I'm black as fuck. Hell, what you mean?
I'm just kidding. But anyway, I'm white. My mom was born in the Netherlands, so I'm half Dutch, and then my other half is kind of like German and Irish, so I'm just straight European, you feel me? But
a lot of people think that he's albino, which is funny because I can kind of see that too. But then it'd be funny to me because like a lot of people come on here and assume that he's white when the majority of people, when they look at him, they think he's albino. So it's like, how would you really know? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we really never honestly straight out said what he was on the channel. So a lot of people assume.
We have.
Oh, really?
Earlier on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
well.
we you know, for the ones who've been around for a long time, we used to do a lot of videos like about being in a racial relationship and couple, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm sure y'all seen some of those videos that we did before. So, number 2, was this your first time dating outside your race?
Me, no. I actually dated outside of my race when I was in middle school, kind of high school, but not really, but more so like middle school.
Oh yeah. Who?
He been hoeing around every race, every culture, every.
What race?
I dated a white guy when I was in middle school. Actually, he was Italian. Let me take that back. He was Italian.
That is white though.
But I'm just being specifically on what he was.
Then you gotta be all specific.
You gonna be real specific because you done dated a lot of little.
Man, stop talking about
races.
me. We're talking about you right now.
Anyway, so okay then. So don't. Yeah, exactly. So let me talk. Right. Let me explain.
Okay.
So yes, Italian. I dated a Hispanic when I was in middle school, and I dated a black and white boy mix.
And she was hoeing around in middle school.
Actually, no, I wasn't.
That's what you just said.
That's not what I just said. First of all, when I was in middle school, everything was just so innocent and like pure back then. Like, I didn't even kiss my boyfriends. We just sent love letters to each other, and that was it.
So you wasn't having sex in the bathroom?
Hell no, I was not doing that. That was your little hole behind.
All right, so look, what is your first time dating outside your race? I want to say I've dated just about every race. Just about. I mean, I've had sex with pretty much every race.
That ding-a-ling been around some thing-a-lings.
Oh no.
Couple.
A few. A whole lot of.
As far as dating, like, you know, she's the first, like, I'm trying to think. I think you're the first full black girl I dated though. What?
I'm just listening. Talk.
Yeah. She looked at me like you were surprised or something. I didn't tell you that before?
I know that.
Okay, yeah, she's the first full black girl I dated. I have dated a couple of the girls who are mixed, whatever. Like, I don't really go by race. Like,
Me either.
I found women to be beautiful, and it has nothing to do with race. You know, race isn't something that I consider when I think of beauty. But okay, so do you only date white guys?
No, absolutely not. I've always been open to dating, you know, whatever I guess whatever I'm attracted to. Like, I'm not just attracted to just one specific type. I've always been, you know, open and just kind of like different about my options. I was raised in a lot of different multicultural communities and, you know, environments and stuff like that. Like, I have a lot of interracial throughout my whole family. From my sister to my brother, they're both in interracial marriages and relationships. They both have biracial children. A lot of my cousins are married to either Indian women or women of just other. I mean, I just feel like it's always been around me from like my family, even my great grandparents coming from like the upper, you know, echelon of my family. So it's something that's always been around me. So I can't really say, like, I feel like a lot of people, you know, they judge like a woman like me because they feel like, oh, she's a sellout, or oh, she's a whatever. I've been called all kind of stuff, child, bad witch, but y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. That kind of stuff do not bother me, because to me it's like I don't really understand it. You know what I'm saying? When love is, you know, when you're in love with somebody, there's no judgment on that. You know what I'm saying? If it's real, then it's real. Like, there's no color or anything that's based on that love. So and that's just what, you know, what I've always been around, like what I've always been used to. So I can't really say that I only date white guys, because this is my first like serious white guy relationship. All my other relationships have been, you know, I was with my children, of course, their dad is black or whatever, and you know, before then I've had other black men, and that's not to say that I'm not attracted to black men. I think black men are great. They look amazing. It's just, you know, for me it wasn't color. When I saw Phlo, of course. When I saw Phlo, I didn't say, oh my God, he's white, he's a white boy, I want to be with him. Like, honestly, like, if y'all knew our story, like me and Phlo, it took a minute for me to really adjust to him and just getting used to just being with a white guy. Cause I wasn't, like I said, we didn't start off as serious as we are now. So
it's just like every relationship.
Yeah. So do you only date black women?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I do love black women. I do love black women. They're very beautiful, but I don't only date black women. Like I said, I've dated pretty much every race, and it doesn't matter to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, every race is beautiful to me.
Did you meet online? Our story is actually pretty interesting. I guess you could say yes and no.
I could imagine how a lot of interracial couples would meet online. Like, when you're in an interracial couple, like, you know, you might not always be in the same place, you know, especially like, we're a little bit different, the kind of relationship we have, but a lot of interracial couples, I can see how would y'all meet or get to know each other. Like, with us, you know, me being a rapper and her being a singer, it made sense that we would meet, you know what I'm saying?
Especially in the city that we were
in Atlanta, you know?
We knew some of the same people, like,
right,
kind of like in the same circles and stuff like that, so.
We actually we did meet online, as far as like the first contact we had was online, but it wasn't really on no hollering shit. Like,
yeah.
Like, when I hit her, she was just, we had been following each other for a while on some random shit, and then she ended up moving to Atlanta, and that's when I got in contact. I noticed she was in Atlanta. I got in contact with her, and I just hit her up about doing a video shoot we was in. You know, there was a video I was shooting in. It wasn't even my video, and a lot of y'all probably already know the story, but she was coming just to be in the video. So we met online technically, but we met in person when we actually, like, once we got into person is when we actually started to get to know each other. And it wasn't even right away that we ended up dating. So, I mean, yeah, we did our first contact was online.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go on this dating site and find a white guy, or I'm gonna go on this dating site and find a black girl. It wasn't like that. It was a business contact, and then it turned into, you know, whatever else. Which race do you think is the freakiest?
Oh, that's a crazy question right there. Which race is the freakiest?
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah? So you're not gonna answer the question?
I'm gonna just say this. The reason why I'm such a freak, as anyone would call me, obviously is because of past relationships. So I never, like I said, this is my first time being with, you know, a white guy in a sexual way. So I can't really say that a white relationship is the freakiest, because like I said, prior to this, I was already freaky. So I can't really say, you know, but you can go.
So you're not gonna answer the question?
No, I'm not. You can answer your side.
Okay. I mean, me personally, I don't really judge people by race, so I don't really think it's like a race thing. There's definitely some freaky white girls in different ways, freaky black girls in different ways. So I've definitely seen some white girls do some crazy things. I'm like, what the hell? So I could say that like all races definitely are freaky, but I personally, I can't really say either in that question, to be honest with you. I mean, I do think that black girls are freaky though, for sure. For sure, but white girls are too, you know what I mean? Spanish girls are too, for sure. So,
you would know. So
my personal opinion, I've probably done the freakiest shit with Leia, for sure. You know what I mean? I've done some freaky shit with other girls, but with her, it definitely tops out some of the things that I've done. So, yeah, I'm gonna just say Leia's the freakiest girl. Remember that. But what is the most challenging thing being in an interracial couple?
Honestly, I don't really have anything to say about that. What about you?
You don't have any challenges at all?
Not really. Not that I could think of. For me, like, I don't know. I feel like I could get through any challenge unless it's physical, because you know sometimes we can't really control our physical strength. So when I think of the word challenge, I always think of something physical, because I feel like mentally I've been able to like top a lot of my challenges. So this being in an interracial relationship is nothing to me, like as far as challenging.
The only thing that challenges me is her breath. Ooh, I think it's stinks.
Yeah, I didn't brush my teeth this morning. I was kind of like sick and.
Girl, I was just kidding. I didn't smell your breath.
But I didn't though. I forgot. I was
Wow.
tired. Just got up and made this video.
Glad I didn't kiss her.
I just got up, made this video for y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna make sure I go after this.
My biggest challenge, I mean, I don't know. You know, a lot of people will probably answer this question by saying like when they go out in public. So we definitely had some situations that we've been in public, dealing with different you know, people, racist kind of stuff. So I mean, probably the biggest challenge is probably that. Between me and her, there's not really a challenge. I mean, I feel like any relationship is the same, whether it be interracial. There's probably some things that are different for sure about interracial as opposed to, you know, being with somebody with the same race as you. But I feel like as far as challenges with me and her, like I've been around like my whole life. Like I was also coming from a multicultural place, so my whole life I've been around people of every race. My friends were every race, so you know it's not really maybe for somebody who wasn't living like that, who maybe grew up in only a white neighborhood or black neighborhood, and they never really were friends with nobody else outside. Then they get into an interracial relationship. I can maybe see some challenges because there's things that I don't know. Everybody you're not familiar with, and it might take some things, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if that's one of the things. I mean, one of the challenges I did have was cooking. Because when I first married, I wasn't that good at cooking, honestly.
He is a good cook now, though.
And I understood a lot about the kitchen because I've been in the kitchen a lot of my life, but I wasn't very good at actually cooking like good.
He was cooking other stuff in the kitchen. Just put it like that.
So as far as like seasoning and all that shit, I had something I had to learn. You feel me? So I ended up
dabbing a little bit of the.
You know what I'm saying? So. I had to learn
with a little
to take a little shit I knew already, you know what I'm saying, and figure out how to make it into, you know, how to cook a good dinner. So that was a challenge. What do your parents think?
My parents love Phlo. My actual biological father hasn't met him yet. He's more so really old school. Like, I mean, of course all parents are old school, but he's more so into the like stick to your race, and we shouldn't, you know, date other cultures, and you know, and I could respect that from a certain, you know, aspect. However, my mom, my stepdad, my grandmother, they all love Phlo. You know, they don't really see him as white. They all consider him as a black guy. Like they think, I mean, cultural wise, like they don't, it's not just, you know, his style or like the way he dressed or, you know, the braids in the hair. It's not really so much of that. It's just his personality, it's his demeanor, and just his character, you know. So that's kind of like, you know, how you see it.
As far as me, like, I mean, as a lot of y'all know, my mom passed away before I met Leia. So they never met. I do wish they could have met, for sure. That is one thing that I be thinking about sometimes. But, you know, I think she would have loved her a lot, for sure, without a doubt. My mom was she had a good heart, so I think she would definitely love Leia. As far as my dad, they get along good.
Yeah, I love his dad, man. I swear, like, I feel like every time I see his dad, you know, we don't see them a lot, but when we do get a chance to see him and be around him, I feel like we grow closer and closer every time. And I don't know. The last trip, I had a blast. I loved his family. His dad.
That was all his family.
Yeah, that was all his dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
And they were awesome. His dad is really cool. I mean, I'd be like, Phlo. Him and his dad have a really funny relationship to me, because I know in a black family upbringing, you could never talk to your parents the way he taught his dad. And it's not that he taught his dad any kind of way. They both have this like father-son relationship where they just talk reckless to each other. And I'll be like, who are you talking to, your homeboy? Like, I could never talk to my mama like that.
My dad is the crazy.
His dad is really crazy, but he's cool. Like, you can have a real grown-up conversation with him, and he just be so cool.
He's cool, but he can have his moments where he goes crazy. He'll call you just going crazy, like kind of out of line crazy. Like not really having the good point behind it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, sometimes this is what it is. But we definitely have moments in our life, and I'll probably go more in detail about my past, but we didn't talk at all.
And I think I had a lot to do with, you know, him talking to his dad and actually kind of like showing him a little bit more respect, because you know he's getting older. All of our parents are getting older, so it's like it's time for us to really, you know, let up a little bit and just kind of like show them more.
Right.
You know,
I think it's just the stage I'm at in my life as well as being with her.
Yeah.
Too. Because I'm in a good place. I wasn't always in a good place. I was actually in a bad place for a long time. And our relationship wasn't good back then.
Yeah, because I remember when we first like got together, I don't recall you like speaking to your dad as much as you do now. Like, and even the conversations they have now are so like, they're so deep and so, you know, like meaningful now. The conversation has definitely changed since the beginning of when they first got back talking until now.
I mean, we had been talking before, way before I met her. Just we didn't talk as much.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, I left to Atlanta. I was out of the city. Was out of sight. I didn't really talk to a lot of people as much.
Do people stare at you in public? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, sometimes it's good stares, sometimes it's bad stares. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you, because I feel like if I was by myself in public, people gonna stare at me anyways. If Phlo by himself in public, people gonna stare at him anyways. It's just,
they do.
It's just especially when we step. Here. It's just when we step in a room, we just shake a room when we step in. So we can't really help that. Whether if it was me by myself or him by himself, we get looks anyways. It's just the energy that we bring into a room whenever we step in. And people have actually told us that, like, y'all, when y'all step in a room, y'all really do something to the vibe. Like, y'all bring in such good energy, such a crazy energy. Like, so I can't, you know, the looks to me don't really matter, because I mean, you know,
like, I'm used to stepping in when we was in Atlanta. I'd be the only white boy stepping in the club. That was before I met her. So I'm used to everybody looking at me anyway, because that's how it is when you walk in. It doesn't bother me though. I could care less. Everybody's looking or not. I don't really notice it, nor do I care. I mean, I notice it because, you know, I do notice when people are staring and giving me dirty looks, and I like to be ready for things that are coming. But I don't like pay too much attention. I feel like if somebody's staring at you, even if it's a racist person, and they're staring at me with their stare, or me and her, because I get a lot of weird looks even when it's just me, from white people specifically. If somebody's looking at me crazy, the more energy I give them, the more energy I'm gonna get back. If that makes sense. If somebody's staring at me and they're looking at me crazy, and I'm just kind of like ignoring them, like I know they're staring at me, but I don't keep looking at them. And then usually that diffuses it. It's the people who want to keep looking like, what you looking at when you're doing all that? A lot of times you kind of create, obviously they have a problem, and you know it, but you feeding into it, now it makes it your problem, because it's really just their problem. They have a problem. I don't, because I don't really give a fuck how you feel. But as soon as I acknowledge you have a problem, I let you know I have a problem. Would you have a problem? Now that's how you get issues. So I feel like if we just like fuck y'all, if you got a problem, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how our attitude with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like out of the places that we lived in, as far as, you know, Florida and Atlanta and even Houston, like these are multicultural cities. You know, like he said, he grew up around he had a lot of different, you know, friends from different cultures. So did I. I'm talking about every race. I had different friends, and still today they're still my friends. And even coming to Houston, we live in a neighborhood our neighbor is Asian on this side. We got a Hispanic neighbor on this side. We got a black neighbor on that side. So we're surrounded. We got white neighbors everywhere. So it's like we are surrounded by multicultural, and you know, I think that's very important to actually be able to experience that, because you get to understand like the importance of people. Like people actually matter in the world, no matter what color you are.
And also the school the girls go to is right around the corner. They have Indian friends,
yeah,
white, black, all races.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that my girls can be able to be friends with different cultures and not just, you know, and I love the fact they got black friends too. I love that they can experience that, you know. It's because when you grow up in life, you have a lot more opportunities, being that you were able to socialize with different kinds of people. You know how to interact with these people, you know, so it's like you can maneuver through life easier rather just being put in a box your whole life. You know what I'm saying?
And one thing I will say, I think I was talking to my brother the other day, he pointed this out. I think that's one of the reasons why we are the way we are. How we don't really judge by race. We don't really, you know, race isn't really consideration when we think of somebody's character. And I think it's coming from a multicultural community is the most important detail. Because when you're around a lot of people, you realize, like, you know, if you're a white person, you grew up only around white people, then you don't really understand that everybody's the same. You know, people aren't really that much different. Race isn't really changed nothing.
That's true.
You don't experience it yourself to see it. Yeah. Or if you grow up in only a black community, you don't see how other people are in a day-to-day. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, it can affect the way you feel about people in general. Just like the way they make us feel about Arab people in other countries. We feel like they're a bunch of terrorists running around AKs. And if we were to go there, we would probably realize they're really not no different than us.
Right.
They're just the same people that just live there. Mm-hmm. And they deal with a bunch of bullshit, just like we do. It's just their shit's different.
Do you plan to get married or have children?
I mean, that's my plan. That's my plan. I'm trying to shoot the club up, you know what I'm saying? Have a couple babies running around, you know, crawling.
See, they ask, do you plan to get married first and then have children? You mentioned having babies, shooting the club up first, so you're backwards. I keep trying to tell you.
I'm with both. You know, I'm doing both. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get. So you saying you want to get married?
I definitely support marriage. I'm big on that. And
yeah, you big on that? Okay.
You don't seem too excited about it.
Girl, what you mean? Of course I'm excited about it.
Okay, so the answer is yes. Yes and yes.
What? Why are you looking like that?
What made you fall in love with each other? I think
pussy. Ooh.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think time made us, cause I feel like, you know, we both were in different situations when we first met, and it started off kind of. The story is just weird. I guess it could be told in full again one day, but I think really what it was is just kind of like.
If y'all want to hear the whole story, then comment below, and we'll tell y'all.
I think it's just really just getting to know each other and understanding where each other come from, and actually, I think the experiences that we had together, going through things together, actually helped us, you know, fall in love. With me, I don't just look at somebody and be like, oh, I like him, or oh, you know, I'm gonna be with him. I'm not one of them fairy tale, squiggly, jiggly type of females. I'm really, you know, I'm kind of like cutthroat when it comes to love, you know. So I don't know about you, but.
I mean, I feel like, I do kind of feel like that in a way. Before I met her, you know, I wasn't really too much of a believer of love too much, or like, I never really probably been in love the way I was raised. I didn't get shown a lot of love, didn't have a lot of family. So I didn't really understand love. I think the first time I understood love was when my son was born. You know what I mean? I think that's why we have such a strong connection, because that was the first time I think I really experienced real love. You know, and that was a natural thing because you have it for your child. And I was in a relationship that wasn't really, you know, about love. It was more about the child at the time. So when I met her, I was in another relationship as well that wasn't really, I don't feel like I loved her. You know, I wasn't able to show her love. You know, when I met Leia, something about her, I was able to love her. And I don't know what it was. There's probably a lot of reasons for that. You know what I mean? We could probably do a whole video about that. But one thing I will say is, one experience I do remember is like what made me fall in love. I mean, the first time I said I love you.
Oh, child.
Was when she made me.
I hate when you do that. I did not make you say it.
Okay, she didn't make me, but for some reason, she wanted me to tell
I just wanted to hear him say it. Like, it's something with us women when we have intercourse, we get real emotional into our feelings. And I just wanted to hear him say it. I know he ain't mean the shit. I ain't mean the shit. I just wanted to hear him say it. So he said it, and the next thing you know, a couple of days later, he told me he really meant it. So I can't help that you meant it. I just told you to say it.
I mean, I felt something strong and different for her. I felt like there was something special with her, and that was the day when she told me to say it to her, and I said it out loud.
And it meant something.
And
he felt
I felt something. I reflected on that, and I was like, I don't know. And that thing was wet and everything.
Oh my God. Okay, we just edit that out.
Nope.
Okay. Is it awkward to talk about race with each other? No, we talk about it, you know, we have very decent conversations about it every now and then. Whenever, you know, we might see some type of racial issue going on in the world, or just some weird, awkward stuff that we might come across. But whenever we talk about it, we definitely both have really good viewpoints on it. Phlo, I feel like he really understands, you know, the perspective of Black people and how we went through, you know, slavery, how we went through our traumatizing times. He really understands that, and he can, you know, put that into perspective, you know what I'm saying, for where he understands it. But I mean, what do you have to say?
I think it's really awkward.
You do?
I'm just kidding.
What? I'm like, huh?
Nah, I think that conversations about race isn't really awkward for me with anybody, to be honest with you. I always speak my mind about how I feel. I feel like you know, we have a similar perspective, actually.
Yeah.
And a lot of viewpoints when we talk about race and in different situations like that. I feel like we're coming from a similar place. So I think that it's not awkward at all.
Mm-hmm. Are white guys packing? Are they packing? Yeah, I feel like they could, yeah. I feel like, well, I'm not gonna say white guys, but Phlo's pretty blessed.
Ooh, dang, she telling all the ladies.
Well, you just told me I was wet!
Hey, look, you know who it is, Phlo on the Instagram. Hit me up.
Me too. Can't get the D Phlo without the princess.
Ladies. Ooh.
Can't get the P without the P.
Ooh.
Anyway.
PMP gang. That's just.
Yo, we are
kidding. Like we just created a whole image in y'all's mind.
Yeah, not at all.
That probably wasn't.
Yeah, we just like playing with y'all.
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Are there any cultural clashes? Yes and no. I'm gonna say for me, just because, you know, I'm not just Black. I actually have a culture which is Hebrew Israelite, and one thing about my culture is we don't celebrate any holidays. We don't eat pork. There's just certain things that we strictly go by in the Bible, by law. We just are not allowed to do, in which I was born and raised in this. My family was, you know, spiritually raised in it. So it's a lot of things that I'm just used to not doing, and some things that I am used to doing. And that's just like any culture, Indians, you know, Arabs, there's certain things that they specifically stick to in regards to their culture. So I feel like every culture should be respected, but every culture should be respected in that regard. And as far as his family, like whenever we go to see them, or, you know, his son comes around and things like that, there's always things of, you know, Christmas and Halloween and not even just his family, but even some of our friends who might not understand, like, dang, y'all don't celebrate no holidays. I mean, I just never did. I was not raised that way. And like I said, again, it goes back to any culture who don't do none of that stuff. There's plenty of cultures around the world who don't eat pork, who don't celebrate holidays. It's not just Hebrew Israelite. It's just a lot of cultures, they go strictly by their law. And that's just what I was raised on. And so a lot of people looking at me might not understand that, because I'm just a Black girl, whatever, they might think that or whatever. But I do have a really strong spiritual belief. Phlo has, you know, adapted to that. He understands it, he respects it, you know, as well. He don't eat pork, he don't, you know, celebrate holidays. So now his family, they're not really understanding the whole like shift. when it comes to that, because they're like, well, dang, you did this before, so what's up? He's like, well, my belief is that I don't believe it. I don't really,
I mean, the thing about me is I was never really too big in the holidays, even with Christianity. Like, I don't want to get too much in religion, but I was never too big into some of that stuff based on the way it was presented to me. It never really made all the sense to me. So my whole life, I had too many questions. So Christmas, all that, I did. And for y'all that don't know, my mother did pass away a week before Christmas, like on December 18th. So, you know, Christmas isn't even a good time for me. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, it kind of took the joy from Christmas away. But Christmas was never a religious thing to me. It was more so like just a time to give to your family and things like that. That's how I viewed it. I didn't really, the whole religious part of it was kind of lost to me. It was more like just a time to give. But, you know, it doesn't really bother me. It is with my son. It can be confusing. That's why I don't get him like the week of Christmas much and stuff like that. That way he can enjoy that stuff with his mom, and then I'll get him like the week of New Year's. You know, I kind of just do it like that. So that kind of gets away from the clash, because when I have him during those times, that's when this could be a clash, because he wants to do Christmas stuff and all that. So it can be confusing for sure.
Yeah. The last question.
Oh, it's the last one. Okay, you can say it.
The last question is, do you think you should teach your child both cultures? Absolutely. I mean, I want my children to know who they are and where they come from. I would never want to hide them from their identity or, you know, their background or anything like that. Like I said, my own children go to a multicultural school. I want them to learn about, you know, all different cultures, you know, mainly, most importantly, their own, so that way they can teach their culture as well. And that way it's respected on both ends, from, you know, their friends and then, you know, them too. Because like I said, when I was growing up, I was able to just, you know, with my friends, I was able to eat different kinds of foods. I was able to go to different kind of events, quinceañeras. There was one of my other friends, she was from Trinidad and Tobago. Like, her family cooked amazing food. Another one of my friends, she was from Guyana. Her mom cooked real good Guyanese food. Like, I had so many friends. I had my best friend, Maria. She was Dominican. Her mom made some good Spanish food. Like, you know, all my friends, my white friends, you know, their moms like their coffees and stuff like that. So, you know, of course, when I went to their house, I respected, you know, the smell of just the coffee aroma in the air.
Coffee.
And, you know, just, as far as, you know, our children, me and Phlo's children physically together, yes, we definitely want to teach them their background and their culture when it comes to, you know, being, you know, having a spiritual belief, being a Hebrew Israelite, and yet still not as far as celebrating the holidays, because we're not doing that, period. But just teaching them, you know, this is where your ancestors are from. This is where, you know. Right.
I mean, you know, my culture is, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't really know my culture. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, we have a similar culture, the way we live and what we do. Even
lifestyle that we live.
Even before we met. Even though not in the religious side or the spiritual side, but more so on the way we lived our life was pretty similar. Culturally, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, I mean, I'm from Florida, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like white people just are all, there's a lot of different cultures in white people. You feel me? You can't just be like, oh, you're white, so this is your culture. You know what I mean? That's one thing about white people.
Same thing with black people. There's different cultures in black people too.
Right, for sure. When you go to Europe, every country is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people in the Netherlands, they're very free-spirited. They just do what they want. If you know anything about the Netherlands, there's a lot of things legal there that aren't legal here. And it's that's my culture from where my mom was raised. But other than that, my culture is just growing up. I was in Atlanta that's my culture, you know. That's where I was living, you know. So I feel like our cultures aren't really all that different. The spiritual side has been the side that I've learned a lot about since I met her and things like that. But we really enjoyed doing this video for y'all. I know it's kind of long, so I hope you. If you're still watching, comment below right now. Let me know you're watching the end. We appreciate all the supporters. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell. If you want to see us do more videos like this, talking about our interracial relationship, comment below. And yeah, and then we're gonna see y'all in our next video. We really enjoy doing this video with y'all. I love being able to share, you know, who me and Phlo are to y'all, because, you know, it kind of clears up a lot of the confusion with, oh, he wants to be a black boy, or oh, she's a sellout, or whatever. That's definitely not who we are. And it's crazy that, you know, being on social media you can be portrayed as one way when you're really not like that at all. So sometimes we just like to come on here and give y'all the raw, real us, so that really y'all can really connect with us, whether you
in this country or another country, wherever, we feel like all love is important.
All right, y'all. We'll see you in the next video. Okay.
You and I, we are fly. When we're together, it's forever, it's a fact. Don't care what they say.
Don't care what they say.
I